Hello and welcome back to Hi-Fi Lo-Fi. You join me here in my living room, this time looking from the opposite view to some videos I made before, and you can see the traditional Japanese paper screens behind me, which have not yet been replaced with new paper, so they look pretty old and in need of attention. Anyway, the living room ceiling light is shining on the top of my head. It doesn't make a very good video, so I won't dwell too much upon myself, and I shall introduce today's topic, which is my turntable. And I bought this turntable a few years back, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So without further ado, here it is. Just a reminder, these are amateur videos in my living room, so I'm not in any way professional. I'm recording this on an iPad, and I don't have any professional equipment. I shall be editing this in iMovie and uploading direct to YouTube after that. Okay, so this turntable is made by a company whose name I'm not sure quite how to pronounce, but the spelling is N-E-U. Which, well, I mean, it could be pronounced Neu, as in the German word for new. It could be pronounced Neu or Neu. I really don't know, because I've looked up some information on the internet about this company and I can find very little information. I think it may be a Japanese company, and it no longer seems to be making anything, certainly not turntables. And what little information I have found on the internet, I'm going to post links below, so please check in the description below this video. Okay, so let's remove the cover, and I've balanced the iPad on the edge of the table on the box, so hopefully you can see what's going on. The cover comes off very easily. There we are. So it's got some plastic hinges at the back that slot into the back of the cover, as you can see there, one there and one there. This, as you can see on the plastic cover, it's got the model number, which is DD1200mk3 direct drive turntable. So presumably the DD stands for direct drive. Now, those of you who are familiar with Technics turntables will undoubtedly have spotted the similarity, especially with the model number. So there's a blatant similarity, there's a blatant copy going on. I don't know whether the company called, I'm going to call this company Neu, after the German word new. I don't know whether this company had rights to make Technic turntable copies or not. I have no idea. I suspect they must have got some kind of permission, because it really is a very similar machine. And my machine, by the way, you can see in the picture that I've replaced the cartridge and head shell with an Autophon unit that came together. Actually, it was quite a good deal. It was, as you can probably guess, because it's red, it's the Autophon red cartridge, and it came with the red head shell, which I thought looked nice. That's why I bought it. A little bit of vanity, I suppose. The turntable did actually come with a head shell and cartridge. It came ready to go. It was ready just to plug in, plug and play, as they say. And so here we are. This is the Audio-Technica cartridge and stylus. I believe the head shell is not Audio-Technica. I believe that the head shell is made by Neu as well as the turntable. The Autophon red, it's an elliptical stylus, not a conical stylus. It's an elliptical. Although I don't claim to be an expert, what little I do know is that elliptical is better than conical. And despite the the red being lower down the range, the Autofon range, I would say certainly it's good value for money because it is an elliptical stylus. Now, what you can see from this is, as I said, it's a total copy. Well, presumably, as it's called a DD1200mk3, presumably it's a copy of the Technics SL1200mk3. Now, the SL1200mk3 by Technics was made only for the Japanese market. I did have a Technics, before I came to Japan and when I was still living in Britain, I had a Technics 1200mk4, I think. I'm trying to remember now. I can't remember. It was definitely an SL1200, or it could have been an SL1210. But it was a very, very good turntable. It was excellent, and I was running an Autofon. I think it was an FF10E, if I remember rightly. I was running something pretty good on it, and I was getting a very good sound out of that. And I've got recordings that are made on it still, on cassette tape and mini disc, and also onto recordable CDs, all using that Technics turntable with the Autofon stylus and pickup cartridge that I just mentioned, and I had very, very good sound quality, and they still sound good if I play them back today. Now, the only thing I'll say about the sound with this one, and it might just be that the stylus isn't run in yet, because they do say there is a running in period. Autofon do say that on their website, so it could be that. I personally have found that the sound is a little bit light, a little bit, dare I say, hollow, and lacking in bass. I believe I've set the correct playing weight and the tracking is okay. It's all on a level. It feels like felt. It's quite light. I don't know really whether I should change that to some heavy duty rubber. I don't know what the best material is. I certainly don't have any problems with the mechanisms of playing any records using that felt slip mat. Let me know in the comments. So there's the on switch, which is, as I said, if you're familiar with Technics turntables, you'll recognise all of this, even if you never got to see a Mark III. We've got the speed there. We've got 33 and 45. Look at that. So you press both buttons together and you get 78. How about that? Well, isn't that great? I think that's wonderful. I think that's brilliant, because these days, how many turntables run 78? Well, I think they're making a bit of a comeback. Now, if you do a search of this, which I did before making the video, I did a search of this on the internet and it came up on Amazon, although it said it was out of stock, and I've taken a screenshot which I'll post at the end of this video, so you can see in the video a screenshot of the Amazon page on this. It says it's currently out of stock. It was introduced in 2014. There's this thing which I can't for the life of me remember what we call these, but you know what that is. That goes there, and if you've got old 78 records or something, that feels like it's aluminium, I would say. We've got this queuing light, small queuing light here. The other thing I should say is this turntable, well, I bought it from a DJ shop, and I'm going to post the link to the shop below here, and you can also see a couple of videos, one of which seems to be in the shop with the shop staff talking to a customer, but it's all in Japanese, but you can still get, even if you don't understand Japanese, you'll get an idea of what's going on, I think. We've got the start stop button. There we are. What else can I tell you about it? Well, it's got this button called quartz. Now, I'm assuming that's a quartz lock, but there's no LED light to tell me whether it's activated or not. It's got a pitch control, of course, because it is marketed at DJs. It's also, let me lift the iPad up and show you a bit more in detail. So you can see here it's got the, as I said to you, it's got a quartz button, which doesn't, I'm assuming it's a quartz lock, which doesn't appear to do much, but it could be doing something that I'm not aware of, but there's no LED light to tell me what it does. And you can see you've got this pitch control there, and you've got this, let's move around a little bit, there you go, you've got this sliding pitch control here, and you've got the forward and reverse direction buttons there, which are lit up with LEDs, so we do know what's going on. I'm not a DJ, don't do any DJing whatsoever. Of course, this stylus is not a DJ stylus or cartridge or head shell or whatever, so I will never ever be using the reverse function. Now, something else that's worth noting, and that is that if we lift the platter off, there we are, it's got a selector switch for phono out or line out. So what that means is it's got a built-in phono preamp, and my amp has a turntable input. It means that I can plug this into the phono input when it's selected here for phono out. The only thing I'll say about it, which is odd, is that there's no earth lead. So if I come around here, I'm running these old cables. This cable did not come with it, by the way. If you look at the back here, there's no earth lead. So when I plug it into my amp, I do get that that horrible buzzing sound because there's no earth lead. I don't know, again, if you've got any advice on that, let me know. I don't really know how to deal with that. It's not serious. Once the music's playing, you don't hear it. It's not really loud, but nevertheless it's there. So when the music stops or whatever, you do hear it a bit. It doesn't seem to be that serious. You can see on there, I'm not sure if you can, how well you can see that, but there is some discoloration around the platter. Now I don't know what that is. I'll have to have a go at trying to clean that off. I don't know what's caused it. I didn't use it for ages, and I just wonder whether, dare I say, the dreaded mould, because where I live in Japan. Well, Japan is an extremely humid, mouldy place, and I've been really dealing with cables going mouldy, CDs going mouldy. It's a nightmare. It's a real menace. So that is the Neu, spelled N-E-U, the Neu DD1200mk3. I'm not going to bother doing any sound checks on it, because I see that as absolutely pointless on YouTube or any video I upload to it, wherever you may be viewing this, because you won't be able to discern any sound quality over the internet, over YouTube, or any device that you're watching it on, I suspect. And also there's the usual copyright issues and things like that. So something else I should point out is that here it's got the, if you see that 50 Hertz and 60 Hertz, because in Japan about half the country runs on 50 Hertz electrics, and the other half runs on 60 Hertz. So with something like a turntable, of course, that is quite an important thing to think about. Coming back to the tone arm, it's an S-shaped tone arm, and I was reading earlier, just before I started making this video, that high-end turntables now, audiophiles prefer straight tone arms. I don't know what difference it makes. If it makes a difference, let me know. I don't know. That's the anti-skating dial, and there you've got the weights on it there. The feet on this, they're pretty sturdy. They seem to be good at absorbing minor vibrations and things, which so your record doesn't get scratched if you're playing something. And in Japan we do suffer a lot from earthquakes and various earth tremors, so I'm not sure. Luckily I don't think I've ever been playing a record when there's been an earthquake. Feels like plastic. It is plastic, isn't it? Which I'm fairly sure that the original Technics that it copies was not plastic. However, it's very heavy. It did not cost so much. It was very reasonable in price. So that was really what attracted me to it. Because the reason I bought it, which I didn't explain earlier, the reason I bought it is because I wanted to buy a brand new Technics. But when I tried to buy a brand new Technics, they had stopped making them. Now they've restarted making them since, but when I was on the lookout for a new turntable, when I set my heart on a brand new Technics, they were unavailable. They'd stopped making them. Now I could have gone second hand, I suppose, but what I did find when I looked for it was this one, and this looks like a Technics. It was a fraction of the price. It was cheaper than you can even get a used Technics for. It was less than 20,000 yen, which at the time it was about 100 yen to the dollar if you're into US dollars. So it was, it was less than $200 when I bought it, and that's really why I took a risk on buying it. Because they were being sold in professional DJ shops, so I just assumed that being a Japanese company and being that they were made for DJs who really do give them a hard life, I just assumed that surely it's going to be okay. Now, of course, DJ turntables are not the same as audiophile turntables, and so you may find that this would not live up to your audiophile expectations should you be such a person. However, I'm also into the gadgetry aspect of hi-fi, so to me it's more than just the listening pleasure. It's also the gadget aspect and the look of the thing. I think it looks nice, especially when it's playing and it's all lit up. I think it's beautiful. So there we are. The colour, by the way, yeah, it's a matte black plastic, and I think since I've added the Autophon red, I think it looks nice. But there were no other colour options available when I bought it, and it doesn't seem to be available to buy anymore. As I said before, check out the links below for more information. I don't know whether the direct drive mechanism is an exact copy of the Technics that this turntable clearly copies, but you'll see in the videos that the turntable does seem to be extremely robust, and you'll see a DJ or two demonstrating that. Anyway, that's enough from me, and there is my Neu DD1200mk3 turntable. Thanks, see you again soon. This is the screenshot from Amazon. This is the screenshot from Wikipedia. Links below.